Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelin. I am a certified health coach and a certified nutrition coach. So today I am going to be diving into a sensitive topic, a topic that is very, very sensitive to me, and not just to me alone, to every woman out there. This topic is a topic that so many people don't really like talking about. It's very sensitive that the society don't want to talk about it, and they view it as taboo topic. So today we are going to be talking about perimenopause, a phase in life, where we as women go through a whole lot, and so many people kind of think we should hide it, and take it the way it comes to us. It is really unfair to really know that, health topics, surrounding women are being viewed as taboo topic. You find out that many people kind of see this kind of, especially when it comes to women's health, and they just hush it, that you shouldn't talk about it because your parents or your grandparents went through it. Anyway, when I was growing up, during puberty, nobody sat me down to tell me what to expect, about puberty. I mean, nobody told me that at some point in my life, my emotions are going to be as unpredictable as a Wi-Fi, in the middle of nowhere. I mean, nobody told me that at one point in my life, my vagina is going to be dropping blood, and I am going to be using some kind of, pad, tampon, or even menstrual cup to really hold it. This is unfair to women because if you give them the information they need, they will be able to take care of themselves, when the situation arises. Anyway, puberty, like I said, so many people can relate with this story. Many people were not told anything about it. We figured it out. For me, I figured it out. My parents just told me, in fact, my mother just told me, this is what you, in fact, I was told the day my menses came out. And so this is what you have. You are going to be using this. At that time what she gave me was pad. So you're going to be using this, and you're going to be using tissue to clean yourself up, and then you're going to be using pads and pads, and put them on your pants, and that's it. Nothing was told. Emotions, symptoms that are coming, pains that are going to accompany it. Nobody told me anything about it. And I know so many people might relate. I figured it out of experience. And I know you have friends, then you go out and maybe bad advice from friends, good advice from friends as well, and some useless biology class that was more embarrassing than helpful. I don't know who would ever tell an a man to teach women's reproductive health, and what they teach you is what they see in the book, and it's really, really very, very embarrassing because you are learning it alongside with some kind of voice, in a patriarchal society. Yeah, that's what Nigerian women went through. Anyway, fast forwarding to this time, now in my 40s, nobody is telling me anything about perimenopause. I'm in my 40s and I'm experiencing some kind of things, and symptoms that are really like, making my life miserable. And I am hearing it, and I know so many, I am hearing, perimenopause for the first time. And thank God that I am in the medical sector. And at the same time, I also became a health coach before I got into my 40s, So I already have the knowledge of these things. But this is not a privilege, so many of us out there have. Many people have no idea about it. And still, people want you to keep quiet. But first, without so much ado, let's get into the main video. All right, let's break it down. What is perimenopause? In Nigeria, as a Nigerian girl, I have never had anything about perimenopause. The very first time I heard about perimenopause was 4 years ago when I was doing my health coaching certification. And after that, I went into women's hormonal health certification, and I wouldn't know if I would know anything, that is called perimenopause, if I haven't done those programs, and I know so many people out there, especially people coming from Nigeria, and in the African, African community, they have no idea about what, perimenopause is all about. In fact, the word what we know is about menopause, and then the word menopause was even used by men to threaten women, as if menopause is just a death threat. Anyway, perimenopause, is basically a prequel to menopause. It is that pregame show before menopause officially arrives. It is that phase, that prepares your body before menopause. For some people, it starts in their in their late 30s, and science says that most of the people who experience perimenopause in their late 30s, are people with what we call premature menopause, and it is dependent on so many factors, and for most of us, we start at 40s, and it usually lasts for a period of 8 to 10 years. And I mean, 8 to 10 years of hormonal chaos, 8 to 10 years of discomfort, 8 to 10 years of symptoms, and the society still don't want women to talk about it. The society still want women to bottle this kind of situation, that can raise their risk, of illnesses, that can raise their risk, to become cases. And you want women to really keep their mouth shut and not talk about it. I think women need more support in this space. Anyway, what happens, when you are going through perimenopause? So it turns out that your body, there are two hormones, that are really very important in a woman's reproductive cycle, which is the estrogen and which is the progesterone. These two lovely, beautiful, hormones are what make everything, to run smoothly in your body. And it turns out that during perimenopause, these two hormones start playing tantrums. I mean, today they are at work doing everything in their finest. And the next day, they are giving you a call, without notice, telling you, Oga, we no go show for work today. You can imagine, and you didn't plan for it. These two hormones, will completely miss in action. And when these things happen, it comes with hormonal chaos. It comes with symptoms, it comes with consequences. And this is where the point is, this is where the focus is, because those consequences is what those consequences are what cripple your daily activity. These symptoms are things that raises your risk of some kind of illness if neglected. So let's talk about the symptoms. Maybe you get to know more on how progesterone and estrogen plays a whole lot of role in your body. Perimenopausal symptoms come with no notice. In fact, you wouldn't know this is what is coming. You are going to be all of a sudden feeling some kind of way. Let me tell you, I was like, speaking to a girlfriend of mine who is going through perimenopause. And this was her exact words, Michelle, trust me, if you know what I'm going through, if I had known, what to come, the things I have to like, expect, in this kind of phase, seriously, I would have been way more prepared, and I know this is really like, the response to so many people. Many people need information to really know what they are going through. Hey, ladies, if you are out there, you are in your late 30s or in your 40s, and you are feeling a little bit out of place, you are experiencing, some of the symptoms I'm gonna like talk about on today's video, and you don't know what it is, know that your body is trying to tell you, Madam, welcome to perimenopause. It is not a death sentence. The good news is that there are so many ways to really, put things into control, which I am also going to talk about on today's video. But first of all, let's start with symptom number one: hot flashes and night sweats. You are minding your business, looking cute with all that makeup, nicely done. Oh, chick, you've arrived, and boom, all of a sudden, your body starts sweating like a furnace. I mean, You start sweating like a Christmas goat they're about to be killed. Seriously, this is what you expect. The bad thing about it is that it doesn't give you any time. It comes all of a sudden. At work, you are sweating. At home, you are sweating. At a dinner party, what is really happening? I mean, you are trying to sleep. Don't even go there. That is the worst of it. Symptom number two, brain fog. That little forgetfulness here and there. It is not Alzheimer, it is not dementia. It's just that, little forgetfulness. I mean, you find yourself walking into a room and, just halfway into the room, the next thing you ask yourself, what am I looking for here in this room? What is going on? What am I looking for? Or probably you kind of like, you were telling a story or you were discussing with someone, and mid sentence you were asking the person, what was I saying? Welcome to brain fog. I mean, your thoughts, unorganized files, and your memory, a glitchy hard drive. Welcome to the new reality, where words disappear mid sentence. That is your new, reality. Seriously, this is one of the things you're going to experience, if you are going through perimenopause. So, symptom number three, mood swings. 1 minute you will find, the next you are kind of like, raising fire and brimstone. I mean, you are trying to let the roof down. Sometimes you might be like, happy when people play some kind of, little, things, tricks on you. But you find out that, in your perimenopausal phase, you get angry, or you get irrationally furious, at every little thing. This is really like, your emotions, sorry, perimenopause turning you into emotional roller coaster with no seatbelt. I mean, the worst part, you don't even know when the next drop is coming, because you don't know when you are going to, like, blow. It is really something that happens with no notice. So, symptom number four, mysterious weight gain. This is really, where the problem is. You see many people increasing in sizes, I mean, people gaining weight on a normal day while you were younger, probably in your 20s. You eat one biscuit. Oga, that biscuit is not enough. You eat one whole packet of biscuit, you are fine. You just go jump it out, metabolism at optimal level. But in your perimenopausal phase, you are just looking at that just one piece of biscuit. You're already getting weight without even eating it. You know, my friend is going through a whole lot. She is gaining weight unnecessarily, even though she goes to the gym with me. you know Even though she is trying hard, to really put up that weight, she is gaining weight in her belly area, she is gaining weight, in her breast tissues. And this is also where I also want to talk about, because this is very important. In Nigeria, we have big breasts. I mean, Nigerians, have big busted people. In my family, we have a history, of big breasts. The only thing is that I did, some corrections. But the thing is that when you are in your premenopausal stage, these breast tissue tend to increase and your breast increases. Now imagine you have brain fog, you have night sweats, you have hot flashes, all these symptoms with gaining weight. Seriously, this is really something that is not good. Symptom number five, sleep issues, insomnia. When you were younger, you just get into bed and the next thing you are snoring away, meeting your ancestors and your forefathers, or even, having to see some nice young looking man with six pack in your dream, having sweet dreams. But it turns out that in your perimenopausal stage, you know, life changes, sleep modus, changes. I mean, you can nap in the afternoon, you can sleep well, But in the night, seriously, at 2 a.m. in the night, you are kind of like, looking and staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep, thinking about all the embarrassing things you've ever done in your life, reviewing life choices. If you were single, you would be thinking, so why didn't I choose Obi when Obi was coming? Yeah, Obi would have been the perfect man. Seriously, this is perimenopause, doing some, shitty things with you. Still talking about, perimenopausal symptoms, symptom number 6, irregular period. This is one of the most common, signs of perimenopause. It is just like that situation where your cycle, your menstrual cycle start playing hide and seek. Sometimes it shows up early. Sometimes, it shows up late. Sometimes it ghosts you. I mean, it ghosts you even for months, And sometimes it shows up light, like, light, flow. And sometimes it shows up, heavy flow. Every month is really like, a surprising episode. Symptom number 7, bladder and vaginal changes thanks to estrogen. You remember at the beginning of the video, I was talking about, um, when you are going into perimenopause, it's a situation where your estrogen and your progesterone, tend to like go on holidays without notice. Now, this is one of the things that happens, this estrogen, lack of estrogen or less estrogen or less, is less estrogen is equal to like, dryness, vaginal dryness, vaginal discomfort, and sometimes surprise leaks, that situation where you cough and something drops down there. That is perimenopause, and you are, at risk of urinary, infection. And this is really not a good thing. It is really like, seriously, you start having some kind of unwanted besties, and this is really something you don't want. You can see why I say it cripples your daily activities. Anyway, let's fast forward to symptom number 7 or 8. Okay, decrease in fertility. Now, ovulation becomes unpredictable. Some people say, in your menopause, you don't get babies. Don't count yourself out yet. So, if you were on birth control, don't ditch those birth control. Seriously, continue with that birth control if you don't want to get surprises, But if you are looking for a baby and God surprises you with a new one, a nice looking being, take it all, and enjoy yourself. Seriously, that when you are going through perimenopause, there is possibility you are going to, have decrease in fertility, outcomes, and when this happens, it is not a new thing. But the thing is that there is also possibility that you might be surprised with pregnancy. So, like I said before, don't ditch, the birth controls if you are not, looking for a baby. So, symptom number 8, I don't know if it's 8, I don't know if it is 9, but let's continue, changes in sex drive. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When we have perimenopause or menopause, many people think that this is the end of, a woman's reproductive viability, But the thing is that it might be the end of women's reproductive viability, but it is not the end of women's, sexual viability. There is, a very big difference. Okay. Now, in your perimenopausal stage, your libido might be like, unpredictable as your moods, just like you are having mood swings, the same way you are going to having libido swings, if that word exists, one day, oh God, madam dear fireworks, so, and then, next day, madam say, today, can we just like keep it till next week? That is, perimenopause. So if you are a man out there and you are listening to this video, it is time you really like, to know that this is one of the changes, your wife is going to experience in her 40s, and it is best to support her, than making her the enemy. Anyway, so let's get to like, um, the next one, which is also very important, symptoms number 10. I wouldn't even know where I am. Maybe menopause is playing tricks on me. Perimenopause, anyway. So, bone loss, seriously, when you are in your perimenopausal stage, it is really important that you take care of your bones, because less estrogen is equal to like, weak bones, so it is very important that you take care of your bones, because at this stage you are at high risk of osteopenia, which is bone weakness, and osteoporosis, and this is really not something you want to like, have, because when you have osteoporosis, which is weak bones, sorry, osteopenia, which is weak bones, you expose yourself to you are at high risk of fall, which can lead you to really like, like if not like taken care of, you find yourself limping, all the rest of your aging, years, or maybe in a wheelchair all the way. So still on those symptoms, of perimenopause, the last one, is the cholesterol cause. Now, when you are in your perimenopause, your bad cholesterol tend to increase, because you are adding weight, you are adding, more fat, especially visceral fat, and this is not a good thing. And that is what, raises your bad cholesterol. And then your good cholesterol tend to, reduce, putting you at high, putting yourself at risk of, heart issues or heart attack, or even, high blood pressure, and other kind of illness, including diabetes mellitus. Seriously, those illness are kind of like most of the, causes of death, among women. And usually women who die at this stage, because many people were, they didn't really know what was happening to them. So it is really very important, that health screening, that you make your heart, a health priority, by doing, a heart screening, and also checking your body. So before I go, like I said, perimenopause is weird, wide and sweaty, but it is not a death sentence. There are so many things, that you can do to really help yourself. And that is the good news, because I don't want to make this whole thing all doom. All right, like I said, no doomy, gloomy news anymore. Let's talk about, the good news. Ding, ding. Now, there are so many ways you can make this phase of your life a smooth ride, and let's get into it. Because seriously, the very first thing I'm going to tell you, which is really the most important thing, is the information, what you are having. If you are listening to this video, if you're watching this video, this is the first step, because empowering yourself with the information will give you the know-how on how to manage yourself. Now, let's get to the practical side of it. Number one, stay hydrated. If you know the importance of water, just drinking water, just this, if you know the importance of water in your life, you would know what I'm talking about. Keep staying hydrated. Take as much water. If you don't have a water limit, being given to you by doctor, if you don't have any underlying illness that, says you should have a limit to how much you drink water, it is very important that you, drink as much as you can, so make water your new bestie. Number two, eat hormonal friendly foods, more leafy greens. You don't know how much that will go, that green pumpkin, what it's doing in your body. You don't know how much, that bitter leaf, is what is that bitter leaf, leaf is doing on your body. You don't know, what that cucumber is doing. You don't know what that watermelon is doing, So leafy green and less processed junk, So sign out, sign out, say no, ghost junk food. You don't need them. All those biscuits, all those gala, all those whatever, all those drinks, all seriously, ditch them for now, because you might not like the consequences of those food on your body. So it is better you just stay focused on eating clean. Number three, move your body. Oh, move your body. Oh, move your body. Active lifestyle. I'm telling you, even a short walk, can do a whole lot on your body metabolism and your mood swings. You're having a mood swing and you are not. Some people would say, I don't know how I'm feeling today. I don't know. I'm just feeling angry. Sometimes I go to work and I just tell them, I'm not feeling me today. I don't know what is happening. Take a walk in that fresh air. You will be good. Take a walk. Active lifestyle does a whole lot, on your body metabolism. And you will thank me later, if you do this. Just try it. Seriously, if you are somebody who doesn't have time, or maybe you have, your partner, you can just put on your favorite Afro music and dance with your partner or your kids until you get sweaty. It is really very important, to stay active, because the more you breathe, blood circulation, it's not just about perimenopause and menopause. It is just about, general wellness. Active lifestyle does a whole lot of good. It helps you reduce stress, it helps you sleep well. In fact, it brings so much benefit, than negative. So it is important that you stay active. Like I said, even a 30 minutes walk, can boost your body metabolism, as well help your, mood swings. Next one, fix that sleep routine. Okay, guys, you see, sleep is really very important. Sleep sleep has helped me, to lose weight. Like, I practically lose weight while I sleep, because I know how this thing work, and it's really had done a whole lot. Sleep health with cognitive health. So if you want to be cognitively active, sleep very well. If you want to, like, stay awake all day, with those beautiful skin, glowy skin, sleep very well. If you want to, like, reduce stress, sleep very well. Sleep gives you more benefit, than you think. So ditch that screen before bed. Try some magnesium if you are, like, having trouble sleeping, because I take magnesium before bed. Sometimes I use, magnesium spray, on my body before bed, and it does me a whole lot of good. But before you take magnesium, find out from your doctor, if it is worth taking and how much you should take, because it's important. Whatever you are going to put in your mouth, to speak with your, your physician or your doctor, whatever you call it in your place, to know, which one is okay for you and which one is not okay for you. Next, is supplements. When I talk about supplements, I talk about the importance of supplements. And I've seen, like, online, so many people trying to advise people, yeah, supplement can kill you, supplement can do this. It's only when you take supplements, without the advice of your doctor. If you take supplements with the advice of your doctor, you don't have any problem. Now, supplements like vitamin D, magnesium, and also omega 3 fatty acids are very, very important. It can help regulate hormones, and this is really something you need. Like I said before you take any supplements, make sure you speak with your doctor to know, if it's okay for you to take, or if it's not okay for you to take. Then another thing I would also want to talk about, is laugh through it. Seriously, if you don't laugh, you will cry. And trust me, we are doing both. So laugh through it. You are feeling like, you kind of sneeze and that thing comes down there. Just laugh, Talk about it with friends, and normalize it. Make it a normal issue. Now that brings me to the end of today's video, and I hope you love it. I hope you pick one or two things from the video. Now I want to hear from you ladies. Are you experiencing perimenopause? Are you already in your menopause? If you are, let us know what has been your wildest symptom. What was it, when you were going through perimenopause? Give us, your comment in the comment section below, and let's talk about it. Let's start the conversation going and normalize this situation, because if we don't talk about it, nobody will. If we don't tell our experiences, people coming behind us wouldn't know what, they are to expect. Anyway, if you are coming for the first time, on my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also share this video with people who might be like experiencing or wondering, what the heck is happening to my body, And also, if you feel that this video impacted you, please give me a like on it, and share it as well with people, with similar interests. So, ladies, we are together in this, Perimenopause, menopause will not defeat us. Together, we are going to confront this situation head on. We are too fabulous for it. Thank you for coming by once again. Stay healthy, stay beautiful, and amazing.